What's up, everybody? Another Friday night lonely stream. I'm just gonna keep at it, keep streaming. Tomorrow I'm not gonna stream Saturday morning, and then the following week I'm taking time off to visit my daughter, and then the week after that I'll be back to normal streaming. But I wanted to do stream tonight, kind of showcase a project that I built. I think it's pretty cool. A blog website using Remix and Strapi. So I'm gonna kind of talk about that and stuff like that. And yeah, and then my camera disappeared. There it is. There it goes. It is acting. Whoa, the camera is going nuts today. I think I need to get a new wire. I think my equipment is failing. Everything is failing, but the camera should be there, should be working. Look at that. We're like faded into existence. You know, that's what happens when you have cats. But anyway, what's up, everybody? If anybody's here, say hello. But today I'm going to kind of showcase some of the projects I built, just kind of talk about it. If anybody's interested in building a blog website and you want to do something quickly, I'm going to kind of share something that I did, and you're more than welcome to see the code. What I'll do is I'll put the link inside. I'll share it with all of you. I'll put it inside the chat here. But hello. Yeah, so what I've been doing, I've been exploring Next.js and I've been exploring Remix. Remix is still one of my favorite frameworks to use. And let me double check my camera here. It's having difficulties, of course. But the camera, if this camera breaks, it's no big deal. I will have to go to my backup camera. I'm just kind of curious why that happens. Let me go back to my backup. Wow. Yeah, I have this other backup camera. This is obviously not that good, and the angle is kind of like messed up. I'm gonna have to use my backup camera. Let me fix it here. So anyway, technical difficulties. Backup camera is on. Goodness, thank God. I don't know what the hell happening to my other camera, but let me adjust this one. As always, technical difficulties. You know, nothing but unprofessional streaming here, but I'm glad that I got a backup camera, to be honest with you. I got to figure out what is wrong with the other one, because it's kind of like phasing in and out. And if it comes back working, I'll switch to the other camera. But what's up? What we're going to do, we're going to kind of take a look at some projects that I've been working on. I've been exploring Next.js and Remix and kind of checking things out. Northern Chimp is here. Hello, Northern Chimp. Great to see you. As always, camera difficulties. My other camera is working now, so I'll keep going back and forth. But I have a backup camera, so I could like switch cameras, because I figured out this one's going to be, I don't know. My cats just love to bite wires. And let me know if the music's not too loud. But today I wanted to kind of walk you through like a project I built for a presentation. And I also, you know, anybody that's looking to get started with Next.js, for instance, or Remix, and you kind of like want to see a practice project, I've kind of built a couple. And first, let me show you what the Remix version looks like, but looks similar to what the Next.js looks like. But yeah, I built this simple starter. It's basically a landing page, and all of this stuff like this hero section, the features, the quotes here, it's all dynamically coming from our Strapi application. So I have my Strapi application running in cloud, and that's where my data is coming from. We have this amazing blog here. If I click, I only have like 3 articles here, and they're all like kind of placeholder articles. And each article kind of consists of a couple of sections. You have your markdown section. You could also add videos. It's pretty cool. We have the sidebar here. If you want to see another article, boom, right there. If you want to look at categories that we have. So we have 2 categories right now, Strapi or Remix. I have 3 posts for each, and total of 3 articles. So very simple website. And I kind of wanted to share kind of how I built it. and talk about it. But I built basically the same project using two different technologies. I built one using Next.js and Strapi, and the other one, same project, building Strapi and using Remix. And the reason why I like to use Strapi all the time is because it allows you to set up a backend like really quickly. Literally in like 5 minutes, you could have your backend, your endpoints, and you could start adding content. And then all you have to do is work on building your front-end application. So you don't have to be a full-stack developer to build full-stack applications. And what's awesome is Strapi comes with this awesome admin panel. If I go to Cloud Strapi, I'm hosting my projects on the cloud. So this is Strapi Remix starter here. And so when I log in into my admin panel, and this is what Strapi comes out of the box, and you could create your own admin panel like in your application, but you don't have to with Strapi because it already exists. So if you're just starting out or you're looking to build projects and you want to build a full stack application like fairly quickly, combining it with Strapi and your favorite framework, it could be React, you know, Remix, Next.js, Astro, Vue, whatever you like, makes things much easier. And obviously I don't know my password. It's always an issue because I can't type. So I'm just gonna kind of show you here. So this is my backend for my front-end application. I didn't have to build this from scratch because that's the beauty of using a headless CMS. A headless CMS allows you to have a place for you to enter your data and return it via API response to get all this. And so here's an example of a blog post. And here you could see that we have this concept of blocks. So I created a couple of different blocks. Right now in this one, I'm using rich text. I could embed video. What's cool if I want to add another block, let's say rich text, and I'll just say in Markdown, this is another block, and then click save. That's going to automatically add it to my front end. So if I go back to my front end project, and notice here, I just added this. This is another block. And what's pretty cool, like you are able to kind of like, oh no, I want this video to be on top. Very easy for me to do. In Strapi, all I have to do is just go ahead and I'm gonna move the video to the top here, right? Boom. And hit save. And now when I go back to my application and refresh, notice how my video is on top. So Strapi gives you like a very easy ability to create an API really quickly, so that way you could start focusing on your front end. So if we want to take a look at the code, I really like how Remix works. So in Remix, if you've never used it before, it's based on React, but it's pretty awesome. And there's lots of things we could talk about, but if we take a look at the app folder, and let me move this out of the way. If we take a look at the app folder, we have our root, which is like your entry to your project. And I'll talk about what the loader function does and everything else. I'll talk about what error boundary is. But the cool thing is this is like your entry kind of point, which wraps your entire project. It's like you could think of it your layout. And for instance, I have my navbar here, and I have my footer here, and I have my banner here. So if you take a look at my application, I go back home here. That initial root that you see your navigation here, and you see the footer here that's coming from our root layout. And if I remove the navbar, if I remove the footer, the hell did the footer go here? You're not gonna see it in my application. Notice the navbar is gone. And so your root folder, you could think of it as your main layout that wraps your whole entire application in Remix. And everything that you want to kind of show in your root, you will show it via the outlet, which I'll show you here. So notice we have this outlet here. If I remove it, hold on, let me bring back the navbar so you could kind of see some stuff on the screen. But our outlet will render all of our other routes. So if I remove it and I go back to my application and refresh, notice how there's nothing there. It doesn't matter which route I go to. Look, blog, I go home, I go to Strapi, Remix, category, doesn't show anything because we need to have our outlet, which will render all of our other routes. And this is file-based routing. So the way you would set up your routes, you would have your routes folder, and then you would have files that represent different routes that you could go. So index is your immediate route. Then I have my blog route, I have my categories route, and so on. And we could take a look in this in more detail. But the cool part that I want to show you in terms of, Remix is how they handle loading data. Basically, you have this availability for this loader function, which allows you to run this on the server, and you could basically make a fetch call. And I'm using a function that I created, but what it does behind the scenes, it will go ahead and fetch my Strapi data using fetch, right? And so you just make a fetch request in the loader. Let me go back to the index folder. And if anybody has questions, let me know. If not, that's fine too. I'll just keep talking to myself. But we have this loader function, which will basically make that request to our API. Once we have the response, we have use loader data hook from Remix that we could call, and then we have access to that information. And what I'm doing here is I'm checking, do you have the information for the page? If so, if we have the information, go ahead and show me that information. And I have this function called section renderer, which basically goes through all of my sections that I have in my page, and it checks. Do you have a hero section? Do you have a feature section? Do you have a testimonial, pricing, whatever? If you do, go ahead and show that section. And so this is when you look at the front end of my application, this is the hero section, this is the feature section, this is the testimonial section, this is the form section. So it iterates through that data that I got back from the loader, and it will display it on screen. And so I love that pattern in Remix because it's like super straightforward. Literally all you do inside your root, let's go back, you would just call your loader function and basically make a fetch request. And to get access to the data, you use your user loader data, and you're able to get the data. So instead of kind of going through this whole entire project and kind of being like, this is what I did, how I did it, this is great, I just wanted to give you a quick kind of look around. And then, you know what I want to do is kind of build something from scratch that kind of showcases this example. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with a Remix project. So if you never tried Remix, you could go to their website, remix.run, and we could literally look and click on get started, and they'll kind of show you the basic documentation and how to do it. And so we're going to start with a basic project. And let's see, where's the commands? App. I don't know what tutorial long. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just looking to see where they're. So basically, we need to run npx create remix latest. So let's go ahead and create our first remix project. So let me go to a different folder here. Make directory. And we'll go and call it stream because I'm streaming. Go to stream. And nvm use 18. And then I'm going to go ahead and create my remix latest project. Click enter. It's going to ask me what I want to call my app. I'm going to call it client because this is going to be my front end. And then just the basics sounds good. And we're going to configure it to be able to go ahead and deploy this to Netlify. So I'll choose Netlify. And we are going to use TypeScript, even though I suck at TypeScript. Who cares? We're going to click yes to run install. And so, people tried React. People tried Next.js. Now let's go ahead and try Remix. By the way, if you have any questions, want to talk about it, let me know in the chat. I'm just streaming while doing things. And today what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to kind of show that simple Remix example that I showed from my blog website. And we're going to try to recreate something similar where we're going to have our front end that's going to get our data from our backend, right? And we're going to do it very simply. So basically what we're going to try to do is to create a quick front end and then create a quick backend and get some data from it. And then as a bonus, I would like to stream a video from my backend. And if we have time, we're going to try that. So I went ahead and let me see here. And I created my client app. So let's cd in our client, you got to spell right, do code to open up in the code editor, and just so make sure we don't confuse our client app with our backend app. I'm going to give it a color. And by the way, like before setting up our backend, if you wanted to kind of test out, you know, getting data, you know, in Remix, and you don't have a backend set up, you could do what is that, JSON server? Is that what it's called? Tippy code. And so here, no, not that the one. Where's the website? JSON server, Tippy code. What's the Tippy code? Whatever the website's called, tippycode.com right here. And so you could, they have available resources. So if you wanted to test it out, they have like posts here. So notice how you're able to get the data for posts, comments. You're able to get comments. So you could find an API online that you want to go ahead and get. You could get profile, whatever. But instead, we're going to go ahead and, yeah, why not try the Tippy code example? Let me see here. Post. They don't get enough data, but whatever. We'll use this. So this is going to be our endpoint here. So in our Remix application, here we are inside the app. We have our kind of root folder, which basically is a wrapper for our whole application, and all the routes that we create in our routes folder. For instance, this index tsx folder, that file that we have is our index route. It is rendered here because of our outlet, right? And so if I take a look inside, we have a bunch of code here. Let's delete this. We'll just keep, let's just delete everything. And then let's just put a regular div, says hello. And it's not gonna be pretty, but we just wanna show something that we have something here. So now let's run our application. Let me run it from here. Yarn dev. And it's gonna go ahead and spin up our cannot resolve remix run CSS bundle. What the heck are you talking about? Root. Did I not run yarn npm install CSS bundle? Link function, CSS bundle. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna delete that. We don't need that. We're going to add Tailwind later. You know what? Who cares? Who cares about that? Like link function. We're gonna eventually add something. I don't think that's gonna break our app. No, that's fine. Because later we'll add Tailwind. For now, we're just gonna kind of chill and hang out. Yep. So here we go. So inside index, what I want to do is I want to kind of show you a basic way of loading data. So what you will do is Remix has the loader function. And whenever you're trying to learn something new, Remix, run, docs, it's always important to kind of utilize... Oh my gosh, I'm going to sneeze. Jesus Christ. Use the documentation. And so we're going to search loader. And we're going to have a example at some point. Let's say, yeah, that sounds good. Let's scroll down here. Client, server, blah, 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 actions, cache boundary, loader. Yep. So we're going to have an example. And basically, using the loader function, you're able to make calls to fetch, get your data. And what's awesome, anything you put in the loader function is going to run in the on the server. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's create export async function. It's going to call it loader. And we're just going to return date. We're going to return data, and it's going to say test. And so in order for me to get access to the items inside this loader function, what I would do is I would use the hook that comes from Remix called use loader data. And we're going to get it from Remix. And what I'll do here is just do const data, use loader data. And now when I console log data, I know, I don't know why I called it data. We should have our response from our application. So let's go to localhost here. Am I running on 3001 because I have a couple of applications running. So here we have hello world. Let's inspect, go to our console. We have a bunch of warnings, no problem, but we have our test here. So notice how we're able to get our response. We're able to get our response from the data, and that could be our response from our API. And so I could render it on screen, and notice how there's no reason to use like use effect or use state for our data, because we know it's fine. And so notice here, when I refresh, we have our test. So we are able to get our data from our loader function. So the next step is like, great, our loader function works fine. Now let's get some data. Await fetch. And we're going to use our TypeCode API endpoint that we saw, which is going to return our posts. Let's do const data, await response. And we're going to console log our data so we could see it. Then we're going to return our data. Unable to. And whenever we return something from our loader, Remix has this JSON method. That's what we want to use. So we're going to do JSON, and we're going to return an object with our data. Don't forget the parentheses. Cool. So now we're able to make a fetch call to our server API just to kind of test it out. And again, this is, I just want to see and show you how awesome it is and easy it is to load data in Remix. And so now we should have access to the data. This is going to be a little bit different because it's from our previous example. So let's see what we console log here. So refresh. So we get an array of data that has our ID, title, and post. And so if we wanted to kind of show that, so what is it? Data. That's going to be our array. And then if you want to show this to our screen, we would just literally do data. And we could clean up the code. I just right now just want to show you a very simple example here, so you can all see like what we're doing. And of course, because we're returning JSX, it's got to be in these silly brackets. And then we're going to return our, sounds good, item has any, don't worry about it. We'll fix this later. And let's see what our response actually has. It has a ID and title. So we have ID. We don't even have a body here. And to fix this, we could make a interface. I'm still learning TypeScript. Post. I guess I could call it item. I'm gonna call it post here. Post, because it makes more sense. I'm still learning TypeScript, so I suck at TypeScript. No big deal. What's cool about TypeScript is that you could do it in kind of, you know, as you're learning. But we're gonna make an interface called post response, because that's what it is. And post response contains an ID and title string. And then here we could do something like Is it like this? Post response. Yeah, now it stops complaining because we gave it our type. So our TypeScript expects, okay, yeah, you're going to get a post ID. And what's cool is, by the way, because we created that interface, whenever I do post dot, see, I get this nice, like it literally tells me what to expect. You should have either ID or title, which is really nice. And what I realized, like once I started using TypeScript, even like the basics, when you go back to using vanilla JavaScript, you actually start missing it. And is this a number, by the way, that we return from response? Yeah, so that's perfect. So now we're able to kind of see our response. We have post 1, post 2, post 3, and this is what we're returning from our API endpoint from my JSON server Tippy code. So we saw how easy it is to go ahead and get data from your API. So now what we could do is we could set up our own API. So instead of, even though Remix is a full stack framework where you could build complete application from start to finish, what we're going to do in this case, we're going to rely on the shoulders of giants. And so I'm going to use a headless CMS. So what we're going to do, instead of getting data from our fake endpoint here for our demo, we're actually going to create an endpoint to return some data from our Strapi application. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go here. I'm going to open a new window. And again, the goal for us will be to show data to screen and then eventually see if we could create a mechanism to be able to stream videos from our API that we're going to create in just a second. So shell duplicate. So cd ls. So we're going to do npx create Strapi app at latest. And what this is going to do is going to create, and we're going to call it server. It's going to go ahead. Yeah, I don't know why you constantly ask me this, but I'm not complaining. So we're going to use npx create Strapi at latest. We're going to call our application server because it's going to be our server. And then we're going to click yes. It's going to go ahead and do its magic, install Strapi for us. We're going to click quick start. And literally once this is done, I'm going to have an API that I could access from my front end. And so I love this concept of combining like your favorite framework and combining like a headless CMS. I just happen to like Strapi. You could use any headless CMS, but you, as a front-end developer or as you're still learning full stack development, you could start building full stack applications. So we already set up a very basic front end, and it's super basic. We'll add styles later. And we're able to get our data from our JSON server Tippy code, but we want to have our own backend. And so we're going to use the power of Strapi headless CMS, which allows us to literally, hold on a second, let me go back, which allows us really easily create a functional API that we could use, which comes with an admin panel where you could manage your content super easily. And literally it's done. Like I'm done here. All I have to do is just create an account. So let me go ahead there, Paul Bratz, and then do Paul at Bratzlavsky at strapi.io, like monkey1234, monkey1234. And so let's click, monkey, come on. Jesus Christ, how did I get those extra numbers in there? 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and let's see, content manager. So boom, we're done. So now if I want to create a simple content type, and I'm going to create a thing called videos because I want to actually do some video streaming here. We'll do in a second. But what I would do is I would go to a content builder. I would go create new collection type, and I'm going to call it video because that's what we're going to have. Our video is going to have a title for now. And say our video is going to have a description. So I'm going to click text, go long text, and call it description. Click finish. And what's awesome, boom, we're done. We click save. And now I'm able to start adding those content types or that data to my backend. So look, let's create a video. Let's create a new entry, title first video. This is my first video. Click save. And then let's publish, and let's create another one. So we have a couple of entries. And so notice how like I'm already ready to go with the backend API. Like I'm ready. Here we go. Second video. Like literally took 2 minutes to do. This is my second video. All right, save. And so now what we want to do is publish. And in order for us to be able to get access to those endpoints in Strapi, by default, you could give things public access. Basically, people don't have to log in, or you could do authenticated, where a user has to be logged in and they have to provide their token. By the way, if anybody else has questions about anything, even live in general, you could let me know. Like I literally don't mind chatting. By the way, this is just me like doing things live and chatting and drinking coffee. Really, you know, I much rather engage in chat if you all have questions, because that would be super awesome. And if not, that's okay too. So I created my videos. I'm going to give permission to be able to find one. I'm going to save here. And so in order to get all my videos, right, this is the endpoint we have to go to, right? This is fantastic. So because I made my API, I gave permission for my API have public access. So now if we go to my, let's go to here. Like, check this out. Let me copy this. I'll do this in a separate screen. So basically what I'm doing is I am putting the URL to the endpoint that we have to hit from my API to get all our videos. So notice how we get all of our videos. We get our title and description. And this is wonderful. So now in my Remix application, which is so super easy, the way they make it to load your data, you literally have this loader function where you make a fetch request. So instead of using our Tippy code, we're going to actually use our API that we created, which is currently living on my local host. And we're hitting our back endpoint API videos, which is going to return our videos. So the structure is going to be different. So we're going to have to fix this. But for now, let's just not worry about that. Let's return test, so we don't have to worry about it. And let's console log our data and see what we're getting. Let's see it. And so let's go back to our Remix application, refresh. I should probably start it to make sure it works. And if anybody has questions, let me know. Good morning, good morning, good morning. My password is human1234, monkey1234 exclamation point. Same, exactly. We have legit passwords. What's up? Great to see everybody. Yeah, so let's start our client app. And then let's go to our front-end application, refresh, and check this out. We're now getting our data from our Strapi application, right? We literally took us 2 minutes to create a backend. That's like magical if it's not magical. And so we have a front end. We're using this beautiful loader function in Strapi and Remix. We're able to just fetch our data and use the load data hook to get our data back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to destructure this response just so, and then in here we should have access to our data and a meta. So I could do something like const data and meta, because I know that's what Strapi's God damn it, I called the data here. Whatever. You could do it like this, videos. God damn it. Videos. Okay, and then we could console log videos. And then meta. Why is that complaining? Okay, stop complaining. You're slow. That's why it's complaining. And oh, I see what I did. I'm an idiot. I could do it this way, by the way, but you could also do it like this, and it'll be fine, right? Yeah, that shouldn't complain. Yeah, that makes sense. But you know what? It's literally saving me a step by not doing that. So I'm going to do this. I'm just going to destructure straight out. And we could go back to our original data because I'm no longer like an idiot using it twice. So we could actually see what we have here. And sounds good. And so now we're going to refresh console log. And we're going to see that we have our data and then our pagination. So our data is our videos, and we have 2 videos. So now what we could do is we could go ahead and show these to the screen. And here's like a cool thing here. Sometimes when you're like, I need to make a type. So you could take the JSON, and there's like a JSON to type converter, right? If you suck at TypeScript like me, JSON to TypeScript. And so you could post your JSON here, and of course I didn't copy the JSON appropriately, but that's the idea. You could like do there, but it's fine. So our post response, we're gonna do it manually though. I just wanted to show you, if you suck, you could, because this is not proper JSON, like I didn't copy it. How do you copy? Let's go back. Let's try that. Let's try that. How do you copy the JSON response? Copy object. Okay, let's go here. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's try that. Let's try that here. Boom, boom, right there. And here we go. We have our types and interface. So we have interface, blah, 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 blah. That's close enough. I'm going to copy and paste it here. And so, because we are using TypeScript. And so, I don't know why they did it this way. I don't like it. But I think what we have title. So, I'm going to do it here. Our post response is going to have ID, which is a string, by the way. And oh God, I suck at TypeScript, by the way, so don't hurt me, everybody. Don't beat me up. We have string, we have attributes, which is an object. And that object has post, it has all this stuff there. So that's fantastic. And so now we could go ahead and show our object here. So we're going to return post ID and attributes. And what's cool about like TypeScript now, because we gave it this post response interface, like whenever I'm like doing stuff, like I know we have, we could start typing, post dot, and look, it's going to kind of tell us what we have attributes dot. And that's the beauty of TypeScript, is that it gives us completion like very easily. And I think like once you start using TypeScript, like I suck at TypeScript, but the little bit that I know, when I go back to using vanilla JavaScript, I start missing like these little things, like being able to get the text completion, stuff like that. So now we're not doing anything with meta right now. Don't worry about it. But now we basically created a front end with Remix. We're in the root. And we learned that all you need is a loader function to make your fetch request, which will run on the server. And in order to get access to your data, you use loader data hook from Remix that allows you to access your data on the front end. And what's cool, look, there's no use state, no use effect, no reason to wait for nothing. And it's not that I'm coding this early. It's 9 p.m. for me right now. So I'm actually in Austin, Texas. So it's like evening time. And then sleep who? Programmers don't sleep. I remember one time I got an idea at 11 p.m. and I implemented it. Yeah, and then 2 days later, you got off and left your computer. I realized my camera, something's been happening with my camera. Luckily, I have a second camera here, which is not as good, but it's fine if people want to see my face or anything. But so let's kind of get back into it. So now we should be able to see, let's refresh properties reading map is undefined. Why is that? Oh, because it's not data because we changed our response. And so now, boom, we have our first video, we have our second video. So cool. So now we were able to very easily go ahead and get our data from our backend. And so we created a Remix application. If you're not familiar with Remix, you could go to remix.run, read a little bit more about it. It's phenomenal. I love Remix. It's my favorite framework at the moment. I love it more than Next.js. I love it more than anything else for now. And again, there's plenty of frameworks to go around, but I really like Remix. I'm gonna, for all my personal projects, I use Remix and Strapi. The reason why I use Strapi, because I'm too lazy to make a full backend or full stack application. So instead I rely on the power of using a headless CMS. I have this amazing admin UI. If you want to learn more about Strapi, you could go to strapi.io, and it literally takes 2 minutes to create an API that you're ready. And so we got our Remix application and we are getting our data from our API. So now what I want to do is I want to create a link to whenever I click the link, it's going to take us to watch the video by navigating to that route with that ID. And so what I'm going to do here is I am going to first import link from the, stop lying to me, Copilot. It's from Remix React. And that's what I want. So now we have a link, and when we click on it, right, it should be able to take us. So here, watch video, we click on it, and it's going to take us to that route, and it's going to use that ID that we're going to use to get each individual video that we want to show. And so we want to stream our video, which we're going to talk about in a second, or in 2 minutes, or in 5 minutes, however long it takes us to get there. And by the way, if you haven't smashed the like button, you don't have to, but if you want to, you can. Not for me, but for the awesome chats. And keep the chats going. You could say whatever you like in chat. Do you know Flutter, man? I don't have time for Flutter, but I do need to make a so the reason why I'm looking how to stream things from Strapi or how to do things is because I do want to make an application that is going to be iPhone app and an Android app. And so I was thinking, like, maybe I should use Flutter, maybe I should use React Native, or even something as simple as Ionic. Just because I'm a React developer, what I might do is go ahead and just use React Native. But now we need to create our route for our videos. And so the way routing works, and they're switching to version 2 soon. And what's really cool about Remix is, even though they're still on version 1, they have this thing called route file naming v2 new, and they literally kind of explain to you what will change and how things change. And I like that because from the standpoint of migration, it's super kind of cool to allow people to start migrating things early on and not wait until the thing comes out. So I like how they already have these features included in V1, so that way I could start building an application with all the modern new features in V2 and have a very easy way of migrating when it comes time. So the old ways of doing routes, they kind of show how to, they used to do it before, and they give some examples. So for us, what we're going to do, we are going to create a route called videos. And if there are no videos selected, we're going to fall back to our index TSX page. And if there is a video selected, we're going to create a dynamic route based on ID. So let's see how that looks like. So what I'm going to do in my routes under, I'm going to do new file, and I'm going to call it videos index.tsx. So this is going to be, whenever you go to videos, this is going to be a fallback route. And the convention here, at least this is how I do it, because this is a route. So I will name it like video route. And so now when we navigate to videos, we should not have an error. So notice we have our video route, but this is when there's no ID passed for the video. But what happens if we pass an ID? We have not found. Why? Because we don't have a route to handle showing the video based on ID. So let's go ahead and create that. And the way you create a dynamic route in a Remix, let's rename and copy this because I suck at typing. Let's do new file. We're going to do videos dot. And so in something like Next.js, you would do like whatever, slug, ID, whatever. That would be your dynamic route. The way you do it in Remix is you do the $, and we're going to say video ID, TSX. And that's going to be our video ID that we're going to use to kind of show which video we selected. So when I do this, let's create another thing. Let's call it video dynamic route. Fantastic. So now when we go back to like video 1, video 2, it's not going to fail. It's going to take us to this dynamic route. So if I refresh here, check this out, dynamic route. If we don't have any IDs provided, it's going to take us to our video route. Fantastic. So now what I want to do is I want to be able to get access to our params. Luckily, Remix makes it really, really, really easy. That's hilarious. I love it. Chip, your humor got rust. You should go or I will send my Python and it won't give me time to react. Hilarious. Yes, exactly. No time to flutter around. I'm in the no time to flutter around camp at the moment. There's nothing wrong with Flutter. Listen, look how cool Remix is and Strapi. We're making progress. So check this out. Now, whenever someone goes, so let's do like a, here we'll do like a message. No video found. That's because they didn't really put like, I don't know. It doesn't have to, there's probably going to be a better message. Like I could have wrote like blah, like it's fine. So now here we use the same pattern. If we want to load data in Remix, like check this out. You use the loader function. We could literally copy this example. We could go to our video here. We could go export loader function and let's import JSON from no copilot. You're getting this run, Remix run node, and then let's import use loader data from, you got that one right. And so now if we want to get access to our data that we're going to get, we're going to use the same kind of principle here, data and meta that we're going to get. And so in order to get single video, what we need to do here, we need to pass the ID. And how do we do that? Well, magically we have access to params, I believe. And do I have to type it? Are you kidding me? Yeah, video. What the hell do I? Params, video ID. Do I do it like this? I kind of suck at type. What? Come on. Somebody help me with TypeScript. Come on. What the hell's happening here? I think it's like this. Boom. Params. Yes. So that makes sense. So I think we have, because we called our dynamic route video ID, that should be the name of our variable that's going to have our ID there. And so now let's console log params dot video ID. Params does not exist. What are you talking about? Whenever in doubt, Is it response? No, it's not response. Is it? Whenever in doubt, just go to the documentation. Loader. Let's see here. Loader. Blah, blah, blah. Loader. Yeah, whenever in doubt, just look at the documentation. I swear to God, there's got to be loader, params. Oh, I need to use loader args. That makes sense. You know what? I have no idea like how TypeScript works sometimes, but I'm not afraid. I'm going to import type loader. Yeah, I'm gonna learn TypeScript by painfully using TypeScript without learning it. Dude, no. Listen, humor, don't flutter around. That's the best. Listen, humor is subjective, objective, whatever the hell. Listen, I love any funny joke anybody makes. By the way, let me know in the chat who are your favorite comedians that you like. I'd love to hear. I know we have very, you know, international crowd, but good Lord, I'm like a big comedy snob because it's a lot of fun. So, where we at? Okay, so we figured it out. We got our params. So we want to go ahead, console log our params. And then what we want to do, we want to fetch our videos plus the params video ID. And I think that's going to work. And if it doesn't, we'll figure it out. Let's console log our data. Nice. So, okay, refresh. What the hell are you telling me now? Video not found. What the hell are you talking about? Let's go to our network tab. Our network tab is doing some crazy stuff. Method not allowed. I gave a permission. I gave the permission. No worries. Let's go to our Strapi application. Let's double check. I have too many things open. Let's close that one. Let's go to settings, roles, public access, get video. We have find one. We are putting the proper endpoint. Let's save. By the way, when in doubt and you need to test your API, you could always use something like Insomnia. And so in this case, I am going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go to get post by ID. I'm going to do this. So we're going to test our backends. We have video with ID 1 sent. Unauthorized missing invalid credentials, bearer enabled. No, we don't want any, no authentication for today. We're gonna do authentication later. And so, what the hell did I click? How do you close this? No, videos /1. And then click send. And what are you talking about? We are getting our video. So our API works. Look, first video, this is my first video. If we pass 2, we'll get our second video. So are we passing the right params here? Params video. Let me look. Maybe that's the issue. Like console log, refresh. Error not localhost build manifest. Something's weird happening. Export. Let me just not worry about this right now, because this looks fine. Let me just. That looks fine. Let me just params load args. Let me just. Let me take a step back. So video route. Oh, I know what happens. Sometimes it's so annoying, but sometimes you're doing stuff and whenever things don't work, sometimes it's like very important to just restart the server, get a new start, and then oh my, I love the jokes. Don't break your device. I'm rooting for you. My favorite comedian, how my dad be like dropping the best jokes of century. Nice. Respect for sure. I'd like to think I am a funny comedian. So let's refresh. Yeah, so whatever, we're gonna ignore the warnings. We're getting our data. Look at that first video. This is my first video. Nice, we got our first video. And so now what I'm able to do, I'm able to go ahead and let's do interface video. I don't know why I called it post response before. It would be more interface. It would be more appropriate to call it video response. And so not to recreate stuff, like what you could do, you could like, because I'm actually using the same thing here. You could export. Normally what people do, they have like models folder. I'm not going to do that, but they have like models folder. I'm not even going to do that. Normally what you would do, you have a models folder, you have your interface in there, and you would export it and use it where you are doing it. I'm just so lazy. I'm just going to just do this because I'm lazy. And we're getting our post response. How's this look like, by the way? It's an object. Yeah, so it looks exactly like it, so that's good. And then now what we want to do, we want to show our video. It's gonna be, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Post response data meta as, would it, like for instance, I guess I could do what is it, like this as post response, but then that will expect this, and so it's gonna be a little bit different. God damn it, but it's fine. It's gonna be like this, and then there's gonna be meta. I'm just gonna do any because I'm lazy, whatever for now. But yeah, so that fixes it. So now we know we're getting the right data. So if I do data dot, we get all the nice things that we need to know. So now I'm gonna do h1 data attribute the title dot description. And so now we're basically able to get our videos based on our IDs. And again, we have our Strapi backend, which was very easy to set up. It was really wonderful because it took us 2 minutes. So we have our Strapi. So we went and did npx create Strapi app at latest. It created this amazing backend for us where we could easily add content. We also use Remix Run for our front end. And so now we have our backend here where we're able to get our videos. And so what I want to do, I want to actually stream the videos. I want to stream videos from Strapi, not to provide a video link for people to see the video, but I want to literally stream it from Strapi. There's like a step that's involved in that, which we'll talk about in just a second. But for now, what we want to do is close all these extra videos. Okay, we talked about it. We're not going to worry about Tailwind today. You know what? Screw Tailwind. We could add Tailwind later. Right now, we need to add our video. But before we do that, let's go to our application, refresh. And so we have our first video. We go back to our original. I guess we need to menu to navigate, which we could do. So here we have our, this is my first video. This is my second video. If I click my first video, look, this is my first video. It's working. If I click second video, look, this is my second video. This is working. So now what we want to do is we want to be able to go ahead and create an implementation where we're able to stream our video. And so this is going to kind of show us like a little power of Strapi in a second, which is kind of cool because out of the box, Strapi allows you to do so much stuff. But the coolest thing is you become better and you starting to kind of learn more about full stack development. You could actually write custom code in Strapi as if you're working on your backend, except you don't have to start from scratch. So we're going to make a custom route and controller to stream videos. And we'll do that in a second. And so the first thing I want to go ahead and do is create a menu. Just because I'm sick, like I want to, like if I, like how do I go back? We could create a back button, but we should have a navigation. So we go to root and we could create a nice navigation here. Nav. And we're gonna hard code it. But eventually you could do something different. Link to, it's gonna be link to, dude, my typing skills today are just not happening. Link to home. Yeah, so let's import link. And then let's make another one called the videos. Not that we have anything to show there, but videos. So this is how you make navigation in Remix. Very easy. And so because we did it in our roots, this is going to be seen in all of our views. So check this out, home, videos. And again, the reason why, so we could take this logic and move it into videos to make more sense. And I'm going to actually do that. So we're going to go to index here. We're going to just copy the, we're going to copy this because we're going to have a home page, right? So let's move the videos here. I'm just moving stuff around. Videos route. So this should work. And then in index, we're gonna delete this. We're gonna delete this, right? And we're gonna delete this. And we're just gonna say H1 home, right? We started here at the beginning because we didn't know what the hell we were doing. But now we are JSON from that, so that's fine. So that should be fine. So everything should work. So now when we go home, we have our home. If we go to videos, we should have our two videos, and we have watch video. It will go ahead and show us the data for that initial video. So now what I want to do, I'll play it with controls. We'll get there. So now what I want to do is I want to be able to, in my videos here, what is it? Video control source data video URL. So here's interesting because I could literally, like, I'm going to try two ways. So first I'm going to try just to provide a video URL and kind of see what happens. And this is not going to work because we're not getting that data back yet. But let me show you how to add the video in Strapi first. So, what are you complaining about? What are you complaining about? Did I break it? Did I have to refresh now again? Yeah, I have to refresh. Okay, let's do it. Okay, yeah. So now what we have to do, I have something else running in the background that's like breaking my Chrome. I got to figure out what extension I have going on that's causing that. So now what we need to do is go to our Strapi application, and under content builder, we're going to our video, we're going to add another content type. we're going to add another field, and we're going to add a media. This is going to be a video. That's going to be single video, and we're going to only allow videos. Finish, save. And so now we content manager, video. That sounds good. So go to content manager, videos. Let's update. Let's add a video. Browse files, desktop. Let me see, test movie. I'm going to use this one. Upload to asset library, finish, save. And now go to second video. Let's add more assets, browse files. So we're going to have two videos. Do I have another video here? Test movie, right? That's the one I used. BJJ game plan. Why not? Let's use this one. Open, upload. So we up. Good Lord. I don't want to change the size right now. I got to find a shorter video. Too lazy. I'm just going to use the same one for now. There's a way in settings to adjust the size of video that you want to return. But for now, we're just going to keep it simple. We're going to use the same video for video 1 and video 2. No big deal. And so now what we need to do is go back to our application. This is not the application I'm working on. So let me close this one. So now what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're getting our videos. And so right now, if I console log data here, and by the way, whatever you console.log inside this loader function is going to run on the server. And so I'm going to see the console log here, right? Yeah. So let's refresh our application. Let's select video 1. And so here's our response. But notice we're not getting our video. Why? Because in Strapi, if you want to get something extra like relationships or other fields similar to GraphQL, you want to prevent overfetching and underfetching. So in Strapi, you kind of have to say what you want to populate. So I'm going to use a very basic flag here, which is going to be plus, and it's populate. There's more flags, but if you do populate star, I believe it's going to populate all the other relationships. So let's try that. And also we could test it in Insomnia, by the way. Where's Insomnia here? So notice you get our video. If we want to populate the videos here, we would do populate. And you could go to Strapi docs and learn more about it. But for now, we're just doing this simple implementation. So if I, oops. And you could get as granular as you like. The hell is the star button? But send. And check this out. Now we get our video. We got our data. Here's our test movie. We got the URL for it. So we're going to do it like a very basic way right now. So we know we're getting our video. And what we want data, video, data. Good Lord, I have to. So here now we're getting our video. And that's going to have attribute ID, which is a string, attributes. And what do we have for attributes? Name, URL. We're just going to go name and URL. Name string URL. Sounds good. URL string, and that should be good enough. And so in theory, we should be able to do data video dot attributes dot URL, and let's see if that works. Cannot be properties undefined reading URL. What are you talking about? So video ID. Oh. I bet. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. Data. Don't ask me why if that's the case. Yeah, and so now we have our video here. And nothing happens. Why? Why nothing happens? Controls. We have controls. I thought if you pass the video URL. And so I wonder, is the video expecting a stream, or is it expecting a just a link to the video? Because I wonder, I want to check something here. Oh, I'm an idiot. The reason why it's not working is because we're only getting uploads test, but we're not passing the actual path of our deployed application, which is sitting here at localhost. Did I close it? Did I close? Yeah, localhost 1337. And normally what you would do, you would store that inside a environmental variable. But we're kind of gonna take the lazy way and hard code it in here, but you should probably have it inside a environmental variable. All right, let's check it out. Let's refresh. And look at that. Our video's working, but it's too big. Class name. We don't have Tailwind. Jesus Christ. We could add Tailwind to sound. So nice. Our video works. We have our basic controls, and we could customize controls here. So look at that. Home videos. And I added the same video for both. So look at that. That's working nice. We have a thing now. But that's kind of cool. But what we also can do, instead of kind of returning something like this, where I'm kind of curious now. I need to learn more about MDN video tag. I need to learn more about it. Video attributes. Because we could pass the URL, but we could also return a video stream, I believe. And so let's kind of play with this idea before we finish this stream. Is try to do some Strapi backend customizations and try to do in the 15 minutes if we can, because I don't want to keep everybody up here. And stream the video Yeah, but I might have to like look into it a bit because I never done that before. Maybe that could be a next stream. But it doesn't mean we can't start. So what I could do though is I could show you how to create custom controllers. So our front end is pretty much done. We have our home, we have our videos. But if I wanted to have a separate controller just for streaming videos, right, and this works, this is fine. But if I want to stream the video directly, we could create a custom controller for that. So let's kind of play around with that. So I'm gonna go here, stop my Strapi server, cd server, go code. Maybe we'll learn something. Maybe we won't. I don't know. So let me change the color so I don't confuse. Let's keep this yellow. Yellow is my favorite color. I keep choosing it for everything. Let's keep it red. All right, so red is going to be our server. So check this out. Inside your Strapi application, I know, we only have like a few people watching, so it's okay. But I'm just going to show you quickly. So notice we created in our Strapi admin, we created our video content type, which basically going to have all the videos. It's not going to work right now because I stopped the server, but let me start the server. No, it's yarn develop, not develop. So nice. So let's see here. In our Strapi backend, we created a content type called videos, and what's cool, that automatically creates all of our necessary controllers and services inside Strapi. So if we go to sources in our backend API, we have our video content type we created, and we have our controllers. We have our video, which basically will use Strapi core controller factory that will create all the CRUD functionality that you need. We have routes, we have services, but if I wanted to create a custom controller, what I would need to do, I would need to create a custom route. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create inside routes a new file called routes.js, export modules equals object routes, and it's going to be an array. It's going to be something like this. Exports modules. I'm like dyslexic, I think. And so what we're going to do, we're going to create a route for us to be able to basically go ahead and stream our videos. And so we're going to use method get. Method gets, and then our path is going to be, what are you doing? Autocorrect. Path is going to be videos. We're going to do play. And then it's going to take an ID of the video that we want to play. And then what we need to do, we need to create a handler. And we're going to create a custom controller. And the controller is going to be called play. And video here refers to this video folder inside the controller. So if I go into video here, I'm going to create code controller. What you could do is you could throw a function in here that returns an object, and we're going to create a controller, which is basically a function called play. CTX. And for now, we're going to return. No, don't guess what you want to do. Return body. No, CTX dot body equals message hello world. So I think that should work. So we went ahead we created a custom route. So if we go to videos, play, and add an ID, it's gonna call our play controller that we created inside our controllers folder by adding an additional controller. And so right now we should return hello world in theory. So let's make sure our server runs. So I defined something broken, probably within routes.js. Exports modules. Is it module dyslexia? Let me tell you. Jesus Christ. Module.exports. I knew I did something wrong. Let's see here in the chat before the world falls asleep. By the way, all of the troopers that are still here, I appreciate you. And again, I know Friday is a super tough time to stream, so anybody that joins me here, it's always awesome. And I just do these to continue practice, kind of mumbling while coding and exploring things, because it's a good way to practice coding. This is our front end, this is our back end, our application and crashing. So now what you should see here, if we go to settings inside Strapi, roles, we'll go to public, videos. Check this out. We have our new controller that we created called play. And so now we could test it out. Let me save here. We give it public permission. Let's go to Insomnia. Let's do 1, send, and check this out. We get a message, hello world. And so now we want to add an ability to stream. And so I was kind of looking at some examples of how to do that, because this is going to be a first. So the first thing we want to do is we want to find the video that we want to stream. So we're going to get that video. And the way we're going to get this video inside Strapi, you actually have a Strapi global object that has a couple of different methods. And in Strapi, we have entity service that you can use to find one or create. So you have this method that allows you to kind of look up the things that you want. And what we're looking to find is our video, and we're going to pass the ID. And dude, Copilot always decides to make stuff up. So we're going to get our params from our request, params ID. I think that's request params ID. All right. And remember, when we are getting our video, it's the same idea as when we were getting it from the front end. You do need to populate it. And so I do need to pass a populate flag. And what I want to do is get the video. I could do it this way, or I could do true. I could do an object like this and do video true. There's multiple ways of doing it. So I'm going to do it this way for now. So this is going to populate our video. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to see if we could console.log our video. So we have access to CTX. We're getting our params, which is our ID. We're searching our video. And so let's see if we get our video. Video. So let's click send. My server needs to get restart. send. So hello message, and check this out. Here we have a video. So what we want to do, we want to stream this from Strapi. And what we want to do is we want to find where that video exists. And so Strapi has this method to help you to dynamically find where on the server your files are stored. And we need to get the path. I'm going to call it my path. Why not? And that's going to equal to, so Strapi has this method dirs that has static or object, I should say, and then public. And that's going to go ahead and return a bunch of stuff. So we could kind of see what it returns. Do it in step. Hey, Jose, good to see you. So what we did so far, we created a remix application, very basic. A remix application. Well, right now my server is kind of, I'm breaking it at the moment. It was working, but I broke it. How did I break it? Let me see. Is everything running first? Oh no, I have to start my server. Okay, so let's try again. Yeah, so we created a basic remix application which has our video section. You go to videos. We're getting 2 videos that are hosted in my Strapi backend. So I have Strapi here where I added content type videos. We have our first video and second video, and we have our remix application. Oh, my kitty's on the table. So let me show you. So in our remix application, I'll just quickly do a review. We have our index route, which basically is our homepage. Then we have our videos route. When you land on our video route without passing any IDs, you're gonna get this page, which was basically using our loader function to make a fetch request. What's cool in remix, and this is a specific function to remix, this runs on our server. After we get our data, we're able to access it using useLoaderData. And we use the useLoaderData hook, and then we're able to pass that data directly to our UI. And so once everything, and hello, and 100%, it is pouring here, and thunder and lightning. So perfect Friday night to stay in for me. And that lightning is crazy. Yeah, my main camera, for some reason, decided to quit on me, so I'm using my other camera. But yeah, and hello, of course. And so we're able to get our videos. We iterate through our videos and display all of our videos on our UI. When you click the link, it's going to take you to our dynamic route where we have that similar loader function where we get access to our ID in the URL. And we're able to use that ID to look up individual video. And again, we get that video and we return it to our UI. And so I like this pattern in Remix where it's like your route, your loader function, your UI, and once you get the data from your loader, you go ahead and put it in your UI. Very simple. And so that's one of the reasons I like Remix, because it just simplifies the process and makes it much easier. And so now here's our homepage. We go to videos. If there's no ID passed, it's going to show a list of all the available videos that you have. When you click a video, it's going to go ahead and get that video, and it's going to load our video of my jiu-jitsu class that I did. And perfect. But now what we want to do, we want to kind of create a separate controller route from which we're, instead of getting the URL, we want to stream the video directly
from our server. So that's kind of like what we're going to work on. And that's something we started. So instead of my Remix back application, in my Strapi backend application, we're kind of trying to customize the controller. So what I did, I went ahead and created a route that created this endpoint, video/play, expects an ID. And then I created a controller with that for that route. And then in Strapi, and man, if the power goes out, the power goes out. I'm just telling you, my God, it's raining like crazy outside and the thunder is legit. But anyway, inside here we have our roles, public, and videos play. This is that custom route and that custom controller that I created. And here's the endpoint that you hit to get it. So right now it's returning the complete data for the, well, right now it's not returning anything. But our previous route is returning all of our data. But what we want to return, I literally just want to return a video stream to stream that video. And this is something that we're trying to do right now. So the first thing we wanted to do is we created our controller and we looked up the video that we want to stream. Once we found the video, we now need to locate where is that video residing on my server, because we're going to stream it directly from my server. And so we use the Strapi dir static public to get the path. So if we take a look here, let me hit this endpoint. And again, if anybody has questions about anything, I might not have the answer, but I'd love to chat with you about it. All right, so yep, no questions. Sounds good. And so let's click send. We get hello world, and boom, here we go. We have our path of where on our server our video resides. So now what we want to do is we want to kind of get that full path. And to get the path, what we're going to do is we're going to add the location on our server to the video from the database. It stores the path where the video is located. So we want to get the root of our server and then append to it the full URL where the video is stored, and we could get it from video.url. So like if you see here, check this out, video.url. So we want to append our path and our upload here. Hey, no worries. If you have any questions, let me know. I don't mind going through it again. So what we're doing is just trying to create a custom controller where we could stream a video directly from our server via custom controller and route that we created. But right now what we need to do, we need to add and append this path to our server public location, which has our videos, in order to be able to stream our video from our server. And so we're gonna do that now. And don't worry, like I'm still learning stuff. This is why I stream, is just because there's, you know, everything is a learning journey, and do it like one step at a time. And this is all, by the way, JavaScript. So this is kind of cool. Like all this code that you see here, it's all JavaScript code, except it's on the server. It's Node.js, but JavaScript is JavaScript. And this is why I like JavaScript, is because you use one language to be able to do your front end code and your back end code. So let's see here. We're going to continue working on this. So we need to import a couple of items here. FS allows us to work with the file system on your computer. So we're going to require FS, and path allows us to have ability to do a couple of different things like join. There's a bunch of methods, but we're going to use it to join our root and our video path together. So let's see here. We're going to do, looking at my notes. So we're gonna do const video. I'm gonna do it like this. I don't know why, like everything has to be capital. I guess like for this, like you would do it for consts. You would kind of use this naming convention, you know, but some people like to use camel case, whatever. That's perfectly fine. And we're gonna join our path to our public folder where our videos are stored, and we are appending the rest of the URL or the file structure. So it's stored within public uploads / video name. And so we're going to get the full video path here. And then let's console log video path, see if that worked. So server is running. Let's click send. We hit our endpoint. Why did it fail? Cannot read properties undefined. So we get video, URL, reading URL. Oh, it should be video URL. Copilot, you're so silly. And so now it should work. And boom, we have our full path where our video is found on our server file system. Well, let me take a look at the comments. Nope, comments are still good. So we're going to continue with this stream here. So once we have that, I need to figure some things out. So let's go to here, do ChatGPT, because Google, why use Google if ChatGPT exists? I use like either documentation on Google. So I want to see what is this. What does the fs.stat sync do? FS map provides a built-in node module that return fs stats object containing information about file or directory. Oh, nice. So, which means that it blocks the execution of the program until the file metadata is obtained. Oh, so it will get us stats to the video file. That is really cool. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to do const video stats equals, and so let's console like video stats. And I do everything like in steps, just because I want to understand every line of code I'm writing and what it does. And if I don't know what it does, I'm going to look it up, right? That's the very important way to kind of approach coding, is not to rush through copying and paste stuff, but to make sure that you're kind of looking. And so check this out. Now we're able to get our stats, which is pretty awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the file size, video stat size. Dude, are you listening to me? Like, I just said it out loud and it's guessing. Yeah, video range is what I needed. Copilot, sometimes you're amazing. So request header range. That sounds good. What the? What does it tell me about CTX request header range? CTX request header range is a property of the request object in Koa, because we're using Koa frame, which represents the incoming HTTP. Is used to access range header of HTTP request, which specifies range of bytes to send in the response body. The range header is commonly used in HTTP requests for large resources such as videos and others to retrieve only a specific portion. So I guess we're going to receive it in sections, which is good, rather than the entire file. So I think the way we were doing before, we were getting the whole file, whatever. And so that makes sense. So in Core Framework, the CTX request header range property is an object that contains information about request range. We have access to start of bytes, offset, and end. So I guess we're going to split and get our streaming in sections, I'm assuming. It shows kind of like an example here. Sounds good. In this example, if the range header is present in the request, the middleware sets HTTP status code to its partial content, indicating that only portion of the resource is being returned. The middleware then handles the range request and sets appropriate response header. Oh, fantastic. Did I learn prompt engineering? No. I mean, I just play with ChatGPT, and there is a specific way of prompting. And instead of like doing general stuff like this, but I do like, for instance, here's an like interesting one conversation I had where, let me see. I have a lot of conversations. So graph-based Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I had a conversation with ChatGPT about like a whole application I wanted to build and how to represent the data. And by asking ChatGPT questions, I kind of talked about the requirements that I wanted, and having a discussion, it kind of helped me to come up with a good data structure to represent the data. And the two that it recommended was using a graph or a tree data structure. I then continued the conversation with ChatGPT and decided that having a graph is a more appropriate structure. So I love ChatGPT from the standpoint of how you're able to have conversation about what you're trying to do, and it's like an amazing like way to learn, like I'm doing right now. So it's like having someone sitting next to you that you could talk to kind of represent. And so using the example, we're going to do that. So the one thing that I want to make sure that we also do, I should probably put some comments in my code. So we're getting video size, we're getting all this other stuff. And so I want to check if the file, if file exists. And the way we could check it is by using fs. So we're going to do fs, and we're going to do promises. And dude, you're reading my mind. And I guess it's because because I'm using Copilot, because I put check if file exists. It was pretty good at guessing what I need to type. So this is basically going to check if the file with this path exists. And if not, we're just going to console log error. And we're not even going to worry about returning from here. We're just going to console log letter, error, and then we're going to throw an error, ctx dot throw 400 file not found. And that's good enough. And then here we could say console log file exists. Sounds good. So we check if the file exists. Don't worry about it. We continue. If there's an error, that means the file doesn't exist. We return an error. So that is great. So then we continue moving forward. So now, just like we saw in ChatGPT, is this idea of checking if you have range and writing so I guess the reason why we need to do this is because some browsers will send initial requests for the range and some don't. So we do have to have this check. And again, at any time, if something doesn't make sense, you could, of course, ask questions. You're also more than welcome to explore this on your own. I think what I want to start doing is like saving these to my GitHub repo and sharing them. So if people want to look at the code afterwards. So if I don't forget to do that, I will do that. So we're back to our backend code. So we're going to do if video range. And we're going to do const parts. And so video range, we're going to get the range. We're going to replace all the bytes equal to split by whatever. So that's going to give us the parts. And then I believe parts is an array. We're going to do const start. Dude, that's reading my mind. You're going to start at 0. And we're going to end at... So hold on a second here so we could see it. I'm going to use it. Stop complaining. So we're getting the start. Then we're checking if part 1 exists or the end. If it's so, we continue here. If not, we return video size -1. So I'm having a hard time understanding this, and so I kind of get an idea what it does. And sometimes when you don't know the answer, you could ask ChatGPT. And the reason why I do this live and use ChatGPT is because I really want to show people how I actually learn and improve my development skill in real life. I continue trying to build things, explore things, and then I have conversations about code with ChatGPT. And a lot of times, you know, sometimes it's right, sometimes it's wrong. But the point is, because I'm trying this actively in code, I'm able to test it. So I'm able to get, like, you know, to see if it's right or wrong in the advice. It's just such a quick way to learn. So yes, we know that video range, if it exists, we check it here. So this removes the bytes prefix. So that will remove it and replace it with the split delineator, whatever. That creates an array of 2 string, which represents start and end of request by range. So basically, that's going to get start and end of our range. So this will get the starting bytes, okay? And then that line that we did for the end, it checks if there is a second string. If so, it will do that same process and get the offset to get the ending bytes. Okay, that makes sense. And if it doesn't, it will do video -1, which will represent the end of the video file. So we'll just check all the bytes that we have, go through it. That makes sense. So in overall, this code is parsing range of a header incoming request to determine the bytes range that's being requested. If the header is present, start and end variables are set to starting and ending bytes, offset of the request range, respectively. The range header is not present, start is not defined, and end is not end of the video file. Okay, sounds good to me. And so now, what we want to do here, we're going to determine the chunk size. And now we're going to add this to our response that we're going to return from our custom controller. So we're going to do ctx.set video. That's not what I want. Thank you. Content type. Content type. Video MP3. ctag content range. Come on. Copilot is lying to me. Bytes. And then we want to, let's see here, blah, blah, blah. Actually, hold on a second. So this is going to run, let's me think about it, conditionally, right? So it doesn't mean that video range will always exist. So we need to set this here. And if we do want to, if we do have a video range, then it will be, then we will use our range. So that makes sense. So it's going to be bytes. So actually Copilot was smarter than I was. So the idea is when we make the request, depending if there's a video range in our header, if there isn't, this is what we're going to have it set to. But if there is a video range, we're going to set to use that range, which makes sense. And then we're going to return body equals our create read stream. Dude, why is Copilot so smart? So what this is going to do is going to read the data from our file system. And here, because I copied that and paste, I should have checked. This is going to do, this is content length. That's going to be our chunk size that we're getting here. Perfect. So blah, blah, blah. We got our video range. Else. And we're going to do ctx dot status 200 ctx set content length video file size, video size. What the hell did I call it? I called it video size. Yep. And we're going to return ctx dot body fs and then that stream. So basically the general idea, if there's a video range, we're going to stream it based on that video range. If video range is not provided, we're just doing the whole path. And I think that's all we needed. So now we can remove this. Here's like a cool thing, by the way, when you're writing code and you're like kind of still learning and you're doing stuff, and you want to find like an effective way of using ChatGPT, go ahead, copy the whole snippet of what you did and go ahead and take it to ChatGPT and say, please comment my code and explain, right? So if you want to kind of reiterate what you did, because sometimes like I'm like half know what I'm doing. And so this to be Strapi controller, yes, that service of video files. Here's a line by line explanation of what the code is doing. So fs require fast path require these lines import blah blah blah. We know that. Core controller, by the way, in Strapi we use factories to create all the basic CRUD functionality, create, read, update, and delete. But you are able to extend the functionality by passing a function, and that's kind of what we did to add an additional controller. So yep. This is kind of not what I wanted to do. So let me ask it again. Please, I didn't want to give that detailed explanation. Comment my code. That's what I wanted. I don't want the deep explanation what the hell you're doing. I just went through that process. So this is what I want to say. I just, okay. Yep. . Yeah, and so like what's cool like about that, like look, I didn't have to write you could write comments yourself, but I don't know, is it a useful way of using Chat GPT? I don't know. But here I am. I have my comments in my code written by AI for me. I didn't have to worry about it. Now I could be reminded of what the hell I did 5 minutes from now. So let's start our server. So now in theory, when we go back to Insomnia, before we were returning our hello world message, but now we should return a stream. Body response headers. Where's my response? Headers, cookie, timeline, preview. Oh, show anyway. Show anyway. Always show. Yeah, so here we go. And this looks crazy, right? Look at that. It's our video stream that we're returning. So I think our controller is working. And so now we're able to get the stream and pass it to our... And this is kind of interesting because I've never done it with Remix. So we're going to see how it does. So what I'm going to do is inside Remix, I guess I could do it here. So we'll get our data for our video, and instead of passing our URL like we did before, we're literally gonna pass our stream and see what happens. And what's cool inside the loader function within your loader within Remix, you could do multiple requests. So response, I'm gonna call this video, I'm gonna call this video response. Video response. If I could spell right. Video response data, and we're gonna have to make some adjustments, but that's okay, we'll get there. And we're gonna return data, video response data. I don't know if I want to call it data. Yeah, I'm gonna, and then we're gonna have a stream here, which is gonna be video response stream. And so now we're going to go here, const video response stream, await fetch. I'm just gonna copy this because it's gonna be close to what we're gonna do. So video response fetch. So we got to get the right endpoint, which we tested with Insomnia. It's here. Play. And then video param, right? Const video response stream. video response stream, video response stream. The naming is kind of getting ridiculous, but that's okay. So we'll see if that actually works, to be honest. Never tried it this way, to be honest, but it'll be great. So now this portion is going to break a little bit because we're now going to have data and stream. So post response data. Yeah, this is gonna be different right now. I'm gonna kind of remove this for now. I'm not gonna worry about it. This is gonna be data and stream. Return. Let's kind of see what we get back. Console log stream and data. So let's just kind of see what we get back. So let's see, my backend's running, my front end is running. I'll probably, like, application's probably gonna blow up. So if we click watch video, Jason, but that's such a terrible error. Where are we failing? Let me console log this. And sometimes you go by trial and error, trying to figure things out. Let's see here. Let's see comments. Anybody have any? No comments. No comments. Quiet stream today, which is fine. No big deal for us. No big deal for us. I don't even know if that should work, to be honest. It should, you would think. Yeah, I wonder why that's because we're able to get the. I wonder if it's because we're getting it from the server. That still doesn't make sense. Oh, hold on a second. No, that's right. Let me see what we get from here. Console log. My kitty cat is in front. Video. Videos play. Param video ID. That makes sense. Fetch. I don't understand because that works in Insomnia. Here we go. So we're able to get that request. Like, check this out. Like, if I take this URL, what happens if I just paste it inside a browser? So the streaming works. So that works. So we know the issue is within remix somewhere. So we're getting video response stream. Let me just hard code this right now. Can I see? Let me just do it this way for now. No, that doesn't make sense. That should still be fine. No, we don't need populate. We don't need this stuff. So that looks normal. Let's console log it. Let's see what this is. I'm like getting sleepy. Well, I'm not sleepy. I want to watch some Netflix in a little bit, but I'm gonna power through this. Come on, we gotta get the streaming work. We create a custom controller that works. We tested it in Insomnia. Our beautiful custom controller works. We're getting whatever this looks like an Atari video game right here. We're getting our stream. We just need to now see it in remix. So let's console log it. Let's make a request. Nothing failed. It's doing something. It's getting the stream. Now, if I want to see the console log, what happens in the loader function, that happens on the server. On terminated literal string. You son of a... Let's see, such stupid mistakes. But where? That looks fine. I guarantee you it's because I should have restarted it. Sometimes it happens. Let's see again. Let's try again. Send. Let's refresh. Oh no, that's a Strapi app videos. It's not running. Oh, it's localhost 3000. I had it open before on 3001. That makes sense. Now it's on 3000. So we got our videos. We click watch video. It didn't explode. It didn't explode. Let's take a look what we get in our response. So we do have a response, and the response is 200, so that works. I'm kind of curious. Wait a second. Maybe you don't return it as JSON. You probably don't return it as JSON. So size, body, 200 kilobytes, play 1. Bytes, connection, connected script policy. Header, connection, range. Maybe the issue is that I'm returning it as JSON, and that's not how you return it. And this is why when I do that, it complains. Let's refresh. Yeah, so maybe that's not it. you want to stream the video from Remix resource route, I would recommend you try to use a dedicated and specialized server instead. Everything related to video is complex. So apparently there's no easy way with Remix to stream the video the way that I'm doing it from my custom controller. And so that begs the difference. If you could just pass the URL and the video stream will work anyway, why go through all that extra work I did today? Jesus Christ. So I did all that extra work to basically be like, you know what? Sometimes the simpler solution is the best one. Or at least we figured out how to create a custom controller with Strapi. So, so what basically we're doing is we created a controller that directly streams our video from our backend. But to be honest, we didn't really need to create that because we're getting the URL that points to where that video lives anyway when we were getting our content types the original way. So instead of doing this the way we did, I could just backtrack to what we had. Let's see here. Make sure I don't backtrack too far. And some of you might be like confused right now, like why is it gonna work now? The reason why it's going to work now is because we're going back to calling our original controller. Our original controller returned all of our data, including the title, description, and our video, which has the URL. And then because we had access to that URL, we were passing it to our video controller, and that works. That works perfectly fine. So if we go to our application, refresh, like look at this, like the video is going to stream and work fine. So here's the thing of like, sometimes people want to over engineer things. So I had this bright idea. Why not create a controller in my Strapi backend? So we created a custom route where you go to video play and then you pass the ID. Then we created a custom controller that had all this extra custom logic that will pass the stream back that then you could use to pass your video component. And yes, you can do that, but there's additional things that you have to keep in mind from the front end in order to make it work. And so the lesson here today is I went through all this work to create this custom logic, custom controller to do something streaming where I already had a solution. Yeah, launcher, yeah, that's something different. That's like, this thing is not defined no matter what I do. I think I have some sort of at goal launcher, I think I have some sort of extension that's broken. But here's the point, like the lesson here and the takeaway here today is that we got it to work, but then I wanted to overcomplicate it and try to create a way to stream directly, and there was no point for it. So sometimes your best solution is the simplest solution. So lesson learned. Our video streaming works, our application works, we have our videos. So I'll save this for later, and I'll save this. Let me actually save this to GitHub right now. Control C. Yeah, let me go to GitHub and save this, and I'll share the code for anybody who wants to look at it for whatever reason. And by the way, this is how I get my check marks on GitHub. Stream, remix, Strapi, video. This is how I get check marks. I stream on Friday nights, building random things that sometimes work, sometimes they don't. And then I save them to GitHub. My cat is in front of my computer. I can't see my screen. Kitty cat, watch out. All right. So let me create this repository. I'll throw it in the chat for anybody who wants to kind of see what the hell I did or not do. But learn a valuable lesson that sometimes the simpler solution. Why did you fail at Kitty? Kitty, sorry, Kitty, I need to see my computer. Good Lord. Oh, I know. I think I messed it up already. So server, client. Okay, we got that. All that stuff. Edit, git, commit, message. Yep, let me save it. Let me check it here on GitHub. Nice. So we have the code. I'll throw it in the chat here if anybody wants to look and play around. But yeah, so we learned that overcomplicating things just doesn't make sense. Sometimes the first working solution is the best one. And here comes like the very important lesson that I'd like to remind myself of is that whenever you're working on stuff and building stuff, get it to work first, because you could always come back to and refactor. But try to over-engineer something and make it better right from the get-go, you're just gonna spend so much time and overwork. So what I've been really like kind of focusing at, build it quick, build it fast, even if it's broken, because you could always come back and refactor. So build it first, learn from the mistakes, refactor as needed, because that way you'll get more stuff done quicker. You'll continue to try new things faster and you learn quicker. So that's kind of like the lesson tonight that took me almost 2 hours to learn, is that what you need to do is stick with the simplest solution possible, get it to work, get your final project done, and go from there. By the way, just want to kind of say, those of you who hung around, thank you, by the way, watching me code and suffer on a Friday night. I always appreciate it. And yeah, and so we're going to take a break from streaming next week because I'm going to be away. I'm going to go see my daughter. And tomorrow there's no stream. I need to kind of prepare. I'm going to go to a remix conference this week. I'm going to give a little talk. I'm like super excited. And I was going to do a stream tomorrow about how to get involved in the community, but I decided that I'm going to save it for not next week, but the following week, because I want to make sure that I don't have a lot of stuff on my mind, that I could really think about what to talk about, what to say, because I just want to kind of encourage people to get involved in the community. And so I'll briefly kind of tell you what I mean. And before people like say, well, you're Paul, right? No, I'm not special anyway. I'm some random dude who started coding on the internet, not knowing what he was doing. And so it's not that I'm special at all. It's that there's a process of getting involved in the community and building your reputation, and it takes time. So I started as some random dude who doesn't know how to code. You know, I kind of know how to code, and I started building relationships slowly. I show you that I'm building projects with Remix. I'm showing you that I'm building projects with Strapi. Hence, I now work at Strapi. And check this out. I'm going to be giving a speech on Coding Up 30 Paul Braslavsky on Remix Conf. And the thing here that I want to mention here is that this is not by chance or by accident I got this, and it's not overnight and overday that I got here. But the point that I want to say that this idea of building in public, even if you're not the best developer, but sharing what you're doing, getting involved in communities. And somebody's like, Paul, why do you do Remix? Because I like it. What do you do Strapi? Because I like it. And I share what I do. I build and I try to build relationship with people to continue to find these opportunities. And by sharing public, by participating in the communities, by bringing some value, I started going to meetups. I didn't know anything about Remix, but I said, hey, can I give a beginner talk about Remix at my local meetup? So there's this app called Meetup, and you could find local meetups in your area. And so I participate in Austin here. There's a Remix Austin. And so I started participating with this meetup. I've been going there a bunch of times. I went here and I just participated. I started making friends. I started asking like, hey, this is awesome. As a beginner, someone who's just learning Remix, would it be awesome if I could give a talk? So I gave a basic talk, then little by little gave slightly less basic talk. I still have a lot to learn about Remix. I'm not by no means any expert, but by building my relationship with Brooks here, the founder of the organizer of this meetup, he introduced me to friends at Git Nation because he was like, Paul, like, I really like your presentation that you did. You also like talking YouTube channel and you're really passionate about coding. And I see that you like Remix. How would you like to MC a Remix conference? So there was a Remix Conf EU, which happened last year. And so I didn't give a talk here, but I was invited through my connection with Brooks to be one of the MCs. And so instead of like giving a talk, I participated here as an MC, as basically, introducing speakers and talking the event. And this is how like I brought my attention into to a wider audience. People like, oh, Paul did this Remix thing, oh, he did this EU. And it's all started from my really small meetup that I attended, and just by learning Remix and trying new things and talking about it all the time. So I got this opportunity to do EUConf. Now, I didn't magically all of a sudden get my talk accepted at the Remix Conf, right? It took time. So I started meeting people about Remix, and I work at Strapi, and I was like, you know what? And by the way, I got hired at Strapi using a similar strategy, but I work at Strapi now. And so by building connections, I was able to reach out to my friends at Remix, and I made friends with Guga right here. He's a big part of the Remix community. By becoming friends with him, by now he knows who I am, talking to him about Remix. This was an excellent presentation. I learned so much great fun. This is what sparked my interest into getting started with Remix. Then through making my connections, I was able to get Kenzie Dodds to come on stream again, talking about Remix, like how Remix is awesome. Not just talking about Strapi or me, but really kind of bringing to public the whole idea of Remix, what I'm doing, what I learned. And so over time, by starting and getting involved in a small meetup and growing your network, making friends, you're eventually gonna grow your reach, and you will start to have other opportunities. So by the way, this talk here, this is going to be like a backup talk. It's not even the main talk. So I'm not quite where I want to be, but my goal is to strive to keep rising the community and to start giving more talks. And this is how you build your connections. And so whenever you start looking for opportunities or jobs or working somewhere, you're going to be able to rely on your circle of friends. And so this is what I wanted to talk in the next Saturday stream. So not this stream. Tomorrow I'm taking a break. And the following Saturday I'm going to be away. But 2 streams from now, I'm going to talk about a journey about how to, like, not like I'm some expert. It's like, but how did I go as a new developer, not knowing anything? How did I start building my network and building relationship? So I'm going to talk about that in 2 weeks. And let's see here. Jose says, I get that getting things to work faster in an early win and helps you do more. So yeah, and 100%. You definitely want to have quick wins to stay motivated. But the reason why I do these live streams, it's like when you come there, people actually comment these streams. It's like, dude, Paul's so dumb. Look at him. Look how slow he is. He can't type. And, or like people make fun of me sometimes. So like, I appreciate that you don't make fun of me. Like, but people like, you know, I'm not the best, like greatest developer. I just learn in public. I talk about what I'm doing. I'm not afraid of failure. And I use failure as my learning, and I continue to learn and improve. And that's the mentality you want. Don't care what haters say. Just keep working. Like I call it failing forward, and eventually you get there. I know a lot of you that do watch my channel already have jobs. I know a lot of you that watch my channels don't have jobs, and you're just wondering what's the process. It all takes work. It's hard, but it's not impossible. So I just wanted to share that quick brief story, but I will do a more in-depth video about what I just mentioned, the past 5 minutes of like building relationship connections. But with that being said, I actually streamed way longer than I wanted to. Learn a very important lesson today. Don't try to overcomplicate things. But thank you all who were here and watching. I know Friday nights are tough, or Friday mornings for some people, or Friday mid of the night. And again, I do these streams like literally just to hang out, chat with you, and whoever shows up, shows up. But more importantly, I do these streams not because I want to get views on YouTube. I got like what, 4 people watching. That's not life-changing views. The reason why I do these is because this allows me to practice coding and talk about what I'm doing and learn through teaching. So I suggest that any one of you practice kind of doing mini lessons, even if it's in front of a mirror, or record yourself and don't show it to anybody, or do like what I'm doing, because through teaching and thinking through the problems that you're encountering, you learn things quicker. But anyway, that's what I wanted to share today. I love you all. Everybody have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll see everybody later. And as always, I finish these streams with songs that I made. This is not my newest one, but I'm going to leave you with this. So everyone have a great evening, morning, night, wherever you are, and have an excellent weekend.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.